Hi, I'm Pascal Kriesche, co-founder and CEO of Smoothie. Smoothie is all about making people happier and healthier. We built, designed, and patented a smoothie store in a box. It removes all the hassle from getting your smoothie. No preparation, no cleanup. We now finalized our commercial design and are ready to launch in convenience stores.
Beautiful. Pascal, thank you very much for joining me on this conversation. I think that's one of the things that I want to do the most during this entire situation with coronavirus is that I want to start sharing a lot of stories of a lot of startups and small businesses, nonprofits and international companies that are doing great things. And people are just forgetting sometimes that although this is going on and it's a tragedy for our world, a lot of people are doing great things and still working hard. So I want to find out, tell me a little bit about yourself and where did you start? So you have this product, but you had to start from somewhere. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Germany. I came to the US 3 years ago to do my MBA. And for me, I'm a mechanical engineer from background. So I was really complementing my engineering skills with the business side, but also just having the opportunity for 2 years to work on something on my own, to try something out, and then hopefully be in a spot where after my graduation, I could do this full time. And I'm just so happy and really, I think very, very lucky that I found something that is really close to my heart and that just energizes me every day. So I remember when I was in my first semester, I was exploring a lot of ideas. I was initially working on another startup in the cryptocurrency space. That was when there was this huge hype. But I realized that there wasn't a founder market fit. So I wasn't the right guy to do that, although I was super interested. And I had this moment of reflection in which I thought, what am I good at? And so my skills as an engineer, but also what am I passionate about? And I love smoothies. I mean, I have one just here in front of me. And yeah, I was living, I was living in Mexico for 2 years and working there. And I just loved when I went out for work, and in every street corner you had those fresh juices, and I could drink them by the liter. So when I was in this moment of reflection, I really thought, how can I leverage my skill set to share that happiness that I feel when having a smoothie? And I looked at why is it so burdensome to get your smoothie? And when I looked at the B2B segment, I found that the cleaning the blender is a real pain point. Also having the right ingredients and actually healthy ingredients. So think about when you walked into a convenience store for the last time. Do you remember any healthy product out there?
Well, I mean, for the most part, I mean, the same things that are bottled in the refrigerator are the things that we see. I mean, we've come accustomed to just getting things that are already pre-made. But I'm with you. I mean, I love having a smoothie every single morning, but I'm getting it. I'm using a bullet and I'm making my smoothie. I'm rushing out. I'm transferring it into a different container. But at the end of the day, I'm coming home to it and it's pretty dirty in the sink. And it's taking, and dried, it's taking forever to clean.
Yeah, and I have the magic bullet. That's how I got started too. I think it's great. It works at home because you can put it in the dishwasher, but if you think about the commercial setting, you don't have that ability to clean it. So initially we started in offices, providing a healthy snack that worked great. And they explored a lot of different segments like residential buildings, gyms. A lot of them worked great, but when we're thinking of building a business that we can actually scale, we found that the convenience store segment is the best, both in terms of sales scaling, but also the distribution chain, because we can plug into an existing frozen supply chain.
Okay, so walk me through how this works. So the machine is, am I buying the machine as a consumer, or am I just going to the convenience stores? One, where are they? How do they work? I mean, what's the benefit? And so walk me through the process.
Yeah. So our customer is the convenience store. They would buy the machine, and then it sits on a counter. We have a freezer next to the machine. In the freezer, you have our smoothie pots. These are 16-ounce prepackaged pots of frozen fruits and vegetables, all flash frozen at peak ripeness. And we don't add any sugar, only water on top of it. So all our smoothies are less than 110 calories, and are vegan because we only add water to it. And the beauty of all this is you grab your cup out of the freezer, plug it into our machine. The machine has a transparent door that closes for safety, but also it allows you to see the entire process from beginning to end. So you see your ingredients through our transparent packaging, but then also how it's blended and how it's cleaned up. We really don't hide anything. We found when we went out into the market that people have lost a little bit the trust into what they consume, and we want to give that back.
Well, especially because, I mean, right now we're constantly hearing about, I mean, how a lot of the food is contaminated. So hearing that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and then also I think just seeing the cleanup. I heard once from a technician who was working on a vending machine. Once you look inside the vending machine, you don't want to consume out of it anymore because it just it doesn't look the way you want. So I think by opening it up and being transparent, it was a challenge initially, but we have a very strong engineering team and we figured that out. And now you can see the cleaning process right in front of you. And within right now it's 2 minutes of a whole cycle. You basically get your smoothie. Down the road, we will cut down on that time. Yeah.
And Doug, so now I get my smoothie out. Are there things that I could add to it, or do I just walk away? And also, can I get this at work?
Yeah, all good questions. So right now we're a big fan of keeping it simple. So we said for now our machine it's a freezer with 3 flavors, and that's all. And right now we add boosters to our flavors in the prepackaged cups. Down the road, we want to have a booster dispenser. So basically you pick only your base flavor and then you can add chia seeds, protein, a lot of things that we can also have seasonal variation, bring in exotic things, really like avoid flavor fatigue. But also what we found is consumers love to put something on top and they feel empowered. This is my smoothie, as if you would do it with your magic bullet. But still just removing all the hassle from that process. We most likely will have something like that next year. For now, the current setup works great, and we said with this one we are able to validate what we have to validate at that stage. Introducing the boosters is then optimizing our consumption numbers and really creating an even stickier product.
Beautiful. And how big is your team?
So we have been growing since we met. So it's Morgan, my co-founder, and we have a pretty unique story. Happy to share that one too. Then we hired our first full-time Carlos, who's a rock star, who was leading the robotics team at Pietro Fast Forward. Have an intern full-time, Carlos, Roberto, who has done a tremendous job. He's working on sales and business development. And we just hired our first female mechanical engineer. Unfortunately, had to postpone the start date with the current crisis, because we said health and safety of our team comes first. But we are hoping she can join us as soon as things clear up. And then we have a great team of consultants, engineering consultants with experience. One has worked on the latest Bevy machine. Another one has designed equipment for Wendy's or Starbucks. And then also a great team of advisors. So we just got on board the former president of Nespresso, who's really guiding us in how to scale a business like the Nespresso of smoothies. So I think the second part of your question was, can you get that at work?
Yes.
We did a lot of testing in the office segment. We still get a lot of demand, and we know there's a huge market. For now, we said we want to focus on the convenience store segment, because we believe if we do one thing right, then we can scale that. But down the road, I could perfectly see our machine be in offices providing healthy snacks.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. You said it perfectly, where you've hired someone and you are because of the situation that's happening right now, you have to put it on hold. What is the coronavirus doing for your growth of your company, for your team? I mean, obviously, if it's putting a little hindrance on your team growing right now. So walk me through, you found out this is happening globally, people started to shut down. What does that mean for your company, and what's next for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the current crisis has certainly impacted us on a lot of dimensions. So as I mentioned, the team, as a team working from home, doing that change. But then also on our production side, some suppliers closing. In all of that, I think we still got pretty lucky in a sense that we had ordered all the parts we needed for the current production batch from China before Chinese New Year. So we got those parts in. Our contract manufacturer is doing medical equipment, so they're considered essential. So they were able to finish our production batch, so that now we have actually our machines at home. Morgan, my co-founder and CTO of Smoothie, has the machines at home and is working on them. Carlos in the same way. So I think having a lean and small team right now helped us transition to home office. But it's definitely not the same. I think in the startup journey, you had ups and downs all the time, and it's nice to celebrate in a team. It's hard to do those things virtually. But I think we have adjusted well. I think we're very lucky that we are in that stage of still product development validation, where there's a lot we can do from home. But also, if we look at our customers, they are affected too, with less people on the road. I'm talking to convenience stores; they have 40 to 50% less sales right now. And yeah, we're trying to help, and also not to push too much on the sales side. So give them time to figure it out, see if we can be helpful. On the long term, go ahead.
In what way would you, when you're saying you're trying to be helpful, in what way?
I mean, we were reaching out, and as a team, we were thinking, how can we help? We have this amazing engineering team with designers, both on the CAD side, industrial side, but then also just the manufacturing, electrical design. We thought, is there anything we can do? And a lot of people started like designing ventilators and face shields for nurses. And we thought, we're in the convenience store segment, perhaps we could do something there. Could we design face masks for those people on the front line who are risking their lives being there? And we reached out to our existing customers. They didn't ask us to do that, but we got engaged in our local community at the Artisans Asylum. That's where we got started building our initial prototypes. There's a very strong community of people who want to help out and building those face masks.
Excellent, excellent. How are you doing with it being at home? I mean, so your entire team is separated. I mean, so you're trying to run a business, but you are at home as well.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you balancing it yourself? I mean, it's not just the whole entire concept of, a lot of people are talking about work-life balance, but you are a CEO and founder of a company, and yet you are in your space and you have a family. How's it going?
Honestly, it's going really well. I'm enjoying the time. I think I've never been as productive as I am now. And there's
Really?
just not a lot. There's not a lot of distraction. But yeah, I also don't have any babies at home. I'm here with my wife. She's working a lot too. So I think the only thing we always have to manage is we have our bedroom and our living room. So basically, if we have calls at the same time, we have to split up and who sits where. But we figured that out, and I think I'm much more taking care of myself. I'm obviously with Smoothie. I want to empower people to live healthy lifestyles, but I probably was not always doing the best on that side to my own. And I think having that time here, I started cooking much more, eating, and going to the grocery store. We're cooking all the time, not eating outside anymore. I just feel much better. And also, I was planning on running the Boston Marathon on Monday. That got postponed. So I think one way to keep my sanity is also go out and run. So I'm going out for a run 4 times a week now. Summer seems to be coming here in Boston, so I'm really enjoying those runs along the Charles River. And yeah, I think I'm just, when you say work-life balance, I'm always struggling with it because I'm not considering when I'm doing work. I love it, I enjoy it. So that's my life. Yeah.
If you're gonna, I mean, a lot of individuals right now, obviously, as you've heard, have lost their jobs. And some of those people are considering, hey, you know what, maybe this is the time to start a business. What would you tell the individuals that really are considering or are trying to figure out, how do I navigate starting a business right now?
Mm-hmm. I think if you have this desire to build something on your own, do it. For me personally, that's the best thing I could ever have done. I enjoyed everything I did before in my professional career, but for me personally, I always love to be proactive, to build something on my own. And I think that the 2 criteria for me were always, I want to learn and I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And I can tell, like, on this journey, I'm enjoying everything, even if in the early days we were shipping around machines or carrying around freezers, packaging smoothies in my own kitchen. Things that perhaps a lot of people wouldn't want to do, but I didn't mind because I saw afterwards my customers being so delighted by what we're delivering. So I think as long as you have a passion for something and you believe there is a market, I would say test it out. And I think today there's so many simple ways where you can test a business. Think about what's the first assumption you need to validate, and then just design a test to do that. If this doesn't go well, okay, then perhaps you think about a different idea or about a different test. But yeah, I don't think you have to make that decision and build the entire business from the start. So to give one example, before even building a machine, I was going to offices and serving smoothies manually, and a team of interns. And we were just validating key assumptions we had at the time, which then became key design features for our machine. So it was a very simple test. I could validate that business at that time. I didn't know if after business school I would do that full time, but I was able to get the validation I needed to be able, after my my graduation to say, I'm confident I can build that business. There is market demand, and now let's go all in.
Now, you're talking about all the good things. And obviously, like when people hear about startups, they're thinking about, oh, like it's all bells and whistles. It wasn't always bells and whistles. And again, you're dealing with a situation right now where you're constantly having to pivot. You have to try to come up with more creative ways. Share a situation where it wasn't great and whether you were going to stay with what you're going to do or leave what you're doing. But people should hear both sides of owning and creating your own business.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think you get slapped in your face every week, every day. So I think it's a certain it's a certain personality you need to have. You need to be willing to have that. I definitely I enjoy the ups so much that I think even when you get that slap in the face, sometimes it's good to get that, because I think in the end it's a learning, and you better learn earlier than later. But yeah, I think there is, like, taking out now in this current situation, our machine in a convenience store. There are a lot of touch points with the machine. You order your smoothies through the screen, you touch the freezer. So these obviously are not things that are ideal in the current situation. No one wants to use that kind of food equipment. And we're thinking, how can we come up with a solution that actually answers to that? So Morgan filed a patent 2 weeks ago about a touchless interface. And we are actually planning in this summer come up with a full setup where you don't touch our machine anymore. It's all remote, and we have different ideas here. And the only thing you touch is actually a cup. Because if we go back to our mission, empowering people to live healthy lives and get healthy on-demand food, there shouldn't be any barriers to that. And so I think we try to see what we learn right now from our customers as an opportunity to innovate even more. That's, I think, very core to our DNA.
Okay, so
I think having that humility and like really listening what market changes are happening, but then also trying to answer to those. Yeah.
Okay, well, no, I mean, again, you just brought me right into the next thing in regards of you're seeing what's happening right now. You've created ways where you're like, okay, you know what, we know what's happening. We know that there's no way that our machine will be as effective as it was before because of like the whole entire concept of keeping your distance and people touching items. You've already put in a patent, which I love the fast pivoting of we're going to fix the problem right now, so that way when we start over. So what does day after we are all back out in the streets and we're back to the new normal, but it's a normal where everyone's out, what's that day look like for you?
Yeah, I'm struggling with that idea of that day will happen, because I think it would be like a long transition, and I think it's not like a 0 and 1. So I think things will open up again, but I think we will still need to do our part, be socially distancing and being more careful and cautious to protect those who are the most vulnerable. But I think that the two things I'm really looking forward to is, one, I think celebrating with our team, who's just doing an amazing job in this tough time, and being able to be like physically together and celebrate that. That's important, and that goes back also to this point of having all those ups and downs. As much as you get slapped at the downs, I think it's even more important that you celebrate the ups, and that's very difficult virtually. The second thing, I would like to take my wife out for dinner. We have been cooking a lot at home, and so that would be nice. Yeah,
that would be really good. I think that you'd get a lot of brownie points for that, so that's a good thing. Before we go, what would be your ask? I mean, if you had a specific thing that you wanted to put out there to the universe, what's the ask that would help your company and help you grow your mission?
I mean, I can only encourage everyone to think about how you live your life, to be healthy. I think even in those times, it's more important than ever to be healthy, and that means do sports, think about the nutrition you get. Yeah, we want to do our part to make that easier for you. So drink your smoothies.
Beautiful. Pascal, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing what Smoothie does, and I look forward to seeing all the brand new products that you put out.
Thanks so much, Jodi.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.